Well, good morning. Jim from the swing here at my house. Good to be with you. Hey, we're always talking about Joseph right now. I mean, entire quarter of the entire book of Genesis. 3/4 of it is talking about the beginning and talking about Abraham and all the different blessings and the miracles of God. But a whole quarter of the entire book of Genesis centers upon a young man named Joseph. So you say, well, why are we staying so long on Joseph? I'll tell you why, because his life is such an example of Christ in a way, and just Christian living, just putting your faith and trust in his Father, in God, the vision, the dream that he had. Now we find him now. We're in prison. We brought you there. This is to chapter 40, and it talked about someone that was put in prison, and he was given the care for of the butler and the baker of the king of the Pharaoh, who fell out of favor with the Pharaoh and found themselves in prison. And Joseph's there, and there he comes. Here he comes. These guys are so distraught. Can you imagine being in the palace, close to the Pharaoh in every way, giving him the cup to drink from, giving him the bread to eat from, having that close relationship, and all of a sudden now you're in the pit of prison in just a matter of seconds. That's how quickly life can change. Life changes on a dime sometimes, just on a spin-off. It just changes, and it can be changed for the good or changed for the bad. It depends. But here they're in prison, and Joseph's taking care of them. And in the middle, let's just read a little bit here about them. And so Joseph came into them in that morning and looked at them and saw that they were sad. Yeah, I wonder why. So he asked Pharaoh's officers who were with him in the custody of the Lord's house, saying, "Why do you look so sad today?" Mm-hmm. And they said, we each have had a dream, and there's no one to interpret it. So Joseph said to them, "Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell them to me, please." Look, we just talked about bitterness. We talked about anger, and we talked about frustration, and we talked about surprise to the negative, and how that it can get on us as a spirit, and that spirit of negativity can be easily seen. I don't want it to be easily seen in my life. I want the favor of God to be seen, don't you? I want to be I just that's a ministry. It's the ministry of walking in the wisdom and the favor of God. And you know, we wouldn't need so many miracles if we just walked in his wisdom and favor. We wouldn't need near as many miracles. We come to church sometimes and pray for miracles. Why? Because we haven't been wise. Joseph stayed wise. He stayed close. He said, I don't want to live my life to bring reproach to myself or others around me. I want to live my life that I can be a blessing. These guys came in negative. They were all frustrated. They couldn't understand it. And it was seen by Joseph to the point where he said, why are you so sad? I want people to say, why are you so happy? You ought to be around my wife more. I'm telling you what. She gets up in the morning and said, it's a great day. I want to live. And we have fun. We live, don't we, baby?
Yes, we do.
And we do. It's fun. Anyway, so Pharaoh's officers, they came and said, so the chief butler told his dream to Joseph and said, behold, in my dream, a vine was before me. And the vine, there were 3 branches, and it was though it budded, and the blossom shot forth, and the cluster brought forth ripe grapes. And then Pharaoh's cup was in my hand. I took the grapes and I pressed them into Pharaoh's cup and placed it in Pharaoh's hand. Oh, what is this all about? Well, immediately, remember when Daniel got the dream of Nebuchadnezzar? He had to go and pray about it. But this guy didn't. He didn't have to pray at all, man. Boom, the dream was right there. And Joseph said to him, this interpretation, this is what it is. He said, the 3 branches are 3 days. Now within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to the place, and you will put Pharaoh's cup in his hand according to the former manner when you were his butler. Whoa, that kind of lift your spirit, wouldn't it? I'm sure he went, cool. Okay, so that now the butler's the baker's getting all excited, man. He said, what's going to happen? He said, but remember me, it is well with you, and please show kindness to me. Make mention to me of the Pharaoh and get me out of this house. Now, for indeed I was stolen away from the land of the Hebrews. I also have done nothing here that they should put me in this dungeon. Now, you got to realize he made his plea, but he didn't say why. He didn't accuse Potiphar. He didn't accuse Potiphar's wife. He didn't say anything about his family. He just said, I'm not here. I just want you to remember me. Okay, that was good. That was all right. For indeed, he said, the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good. He said to Joseph, I also have had a dream, and there were 3 white baskets on my head, and in the uppermost basket there were all kinds of baked goods for Pharaoh, and the birds ate them out of the baskets on my head. So Joseph answered, well, this is the interpretation. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift off your head. He'll lift off your head from him and hang you to a tree, and the birds will eat your flesh from you. Wow. Couldn't he soften the blow just a little? I mean, what's going to happen to you? You're going to die. He says he's going to lift up his head, and the other one's going to lift off his head. I think I'd rather be the butler than the baker. So anyway, and it came true. It came true. Within 3 days, we'll lift off your head. Now it came to pass on the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast for all the servants, and he lifted up his head. Oh my goodness. He lifted up his head, and he brought the baker and the butler in, and I'll tell you what happens to them tomorrow, because I'm in 6 minutes and 41 seconds. I got carried away. See you tomorrow.